You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to bring the Monday, June 10th regular meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners to order. First item on the agenda, second item on the agenda is approval of minutes from the May 13th minute. May I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, report of the chief.
All right, good evening, everyone. Just a couple of points of interest, department activities. I'll breeze through the statistical report. You know, our historical trend of motor vehicle thefts, it's kind of leveling out, maintaining, the trend line's maintaining, not increasing, which is good news. We've seen a drop in our theft from vehicle, which would be, you know, stealing items out of the car, mainly unlocked cars. So that could be attributed to the public locking them or a decrease in some of those groups of the perpetrators coming through town. But we're seeing a decrease there, which is good news. So be vigilant, make sure you lock up, help us, help you, and that's an encouraging number for now, but that trend can always change. As we go into the summer season, the social events, the gatherings, our driving under the influence, the numbers are steady from year to year right now. Please utilize the ride share options as opposed to in the back seat of one of our cars. I think it's a lot cheaper for you. So please don't drink and drive or drive under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, and or drugs. The family violence trend is still peaking a little bit. All the other social service calls are within range. Nothing necessarily in the theft department. If you look, our accidents went up from April to May. There was 10 more. You know, some of them were attributed to private property, motor vehicle accidents in private parking lots, not necessarily on the public roadways. Again, some of our heavy hotspots, it's due to distracted driving, i.e. following too close, rear-end accidents. But digging a little deeper with these numbers, it's fairly consistent, but not as many injury accidents. But again, distracted, following too close, and like most accidents, there's a speed component if you're not paying attention and you're speeding. So our training synopsis, as we go into June and July, this will taper off a little bit, but a couple to point out. We have Officer Trevor Mitchell-Carter and Aiden Riccadelli that are on field training now. They're out of the police academy. They are out on the field with their field training officers, and we hope to have them in the fold as we get into the end of the summer season. We have Officer Matthew Sywek. He started at the New Britain Police Academy. New Britain's a satellite academy. I believe this will be our first recruit that's attending New Britain Academy, but in the past there have been some good reviews, so he's just newly into that program. And just the basic K-9 SWAT updates. Sergeant Romanello did a drone legal update course, which is it's not a new technology in law enforcement, but it's definitely an emerging technology that we're really looking at, that we do have some now that do interior of structures. And we're going to be working with the fire department and our regional SWAT team to look for a more of a drone team with some of this technology. We have utilized it recently in some search for a missing person and some tracks. So Sergeant Romanello helped lead the way on that. The personnel overview, this is something that we talk about every day. We still have a lieutenant out on maternity leave, light duty. We have a new officer recruit still on light duty. Hopefully, he will be cleared for a July academy seat and get him back into the academy. If you remember, he suffered an injury during the early stages of his post-academy. Already hit on the recruit in New Britain, the 2 on field training. And we have the 2 more officers that are in the budget the next fiscal year. So July 1, we can tap into those monies and hire. That's a very good segue into the possibility we may need, Chairman, we may need to call a special meeting in the upcoming weeks. We have 2 recruits now that are at the tail end of the background process. They look really encouraging. Their backgrounds are favorable at this point. We just have a few more hurdles before they'll be ready. And we'll be under a time crunch. We have 3 spots in the academy in July. So we have 1 already existing and the 2 we'd like to bring on. So we're gonna have to try to fast track that. I'll be in touch as we go through the week for that. As far as the, related to personnel, one thing that we're evaluating and looking at, when we get hopefully we can get the union contract settled in the near future, look at some scheduling, look at where our manpower allocation is, and try to bolster our field deployments. That was the initial purpose behind the 2 additional officers, reevaluate, and I know early on at this point already, we're not even into the next budget, but this comes around very quickly. The fiscal year after that, we will be asking again for some officers. And we'll have more for the commission to look at as we go forward as far as our plan of where these bodies and how this would look and the structure and our demands. You do remember the assessment that was done by Lieutenant Carangelo and where some of our needs were and the increases in the demands. So we're going to be looking at that as we go through this fiscal year to try to get ready to meet some of those challenges. As far as some of the ongoings of the department, well, for the good order, first and foremost, I think it's appropriate to recognize the passing of Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier of the Connecticut State Police. That really hits home. It hits even harder when the family's brought into the fold and you see the aftermath of the void there. It's a difficult job. We tend to maybe suppress that a little bit as we go out there and do the job every day, but that's a stark reminder of the ultimate sacrifice, and our prayers and blessings are with the family. Very tough time for everyone in that organization and the family. As part of our torch run tradition, the officers ran through town to raise money for the law enforcement torch run. It's kind of a tradition around here that the younger officers, it's a rite of passage, they have to kind of run. So good showing. Detective Joe Hurton, again, leading the charge on that. He probably wasn't leading the charge in the pack of the runners, but he was leading the charge of getting them there. Also, I'd like to thank the members of the Color Guard for marching in the Memorial Day Parade. Very nice to be there to represent and pay tribute to those that served. And as I predicted last meeting, we are once again the softball champions.
Congrats.
Our fine men and women showed no mercy. Can't even say it was a close game, but it was a wonderful time and a lot of great, impressive performances, a lot of good laughs, and very, very nice time. So raised money for the counseling center, and we'll continue that tradition. And maybe next year we'll have to do T-ball or something. Maybe the fire department will do a little better with that.
Ooh, ouch.
One other post you may have saw on our Facebook page regarding our telecommunicators, our 911 dispatchers. They're often the hidden, people that make the world go round for us. And I had a firsthand opportunity. I've always understood and respected their contribution and how difficult their job can be. But I had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to be in there when they were managing a structure fire and a pretty serious motor vehicle accident at the same time. And it just reinforced what I've always believed, but they did a fantastic job. And to see the level of multitasking that they do and how they make decisions and getting the resources, it was impressive. So we put a little reminder out there on social media. So we do appreciate what they do, and often they're under-recognized in the cog of the public safety of the police and fire. They're the first person they're your lifeline, so when you call 911, they're the ones. So thank you them for their daily contributions.
Chief,
Yep.
I have a question on that. What is the reasoning behind the script they have to read now?
So there's kind of two sides to that. There's a medical protocol when you dial 911. That is a protocol they have to follow. That's regulated and controlled. On the police side, that's an optional. The reason why they do that is because that helps determine what resources they need for those calls. I do understand some callers get impatient and they don't understand why they're asking for that information, but that dictates kind of the level more on the medical side of what level of care you need, i.e. what resource you need. So please bear with them. They have to go through that script. They can go through it fairly quickly, but it's essential that they get that information. So that's how they go through that. Also, from the press and noteworthy, back on May 17th, there was a dispute down at this local establishment here in town, the Stand, and during that time, a subject decided to assault a few of the officers. A fight ensued and they were able to get him into custody. He's facing numerous charges, including assault on police officers. This was something that just goes to show that a mixture of behavior and alcohol and the sheer numbers of people down there that the officers did what they needed to do to bring the subject into custody. But we thought it was important to get it out there on our social media page. And the reason why was that there was a few videos circulating around social media which were very one view, one angle. And if you look at a video from one angle and you don't know the whole story, it could have been perceived to be, maybe there was some comments in the public that, oh, that wasn't necessary, or the use of force. Basically, use of force is never pretty. It's never pretty. Yeah. Violence in and of itself isn't pretty. But when you look at that in totality, that there was an officer that was being assaulted while the other officer was trying to get the subject to release him, we thought it was important to get that side of the story out as fast as we could, because, please remember, with all these type of cases, there's multiple sides to it. We have and will continue to conduct an internal review of all our use of forces. It's within our policy, it's what we do. And if we need training or we need corrective action, we will do that. But in this case, we felt it was important to get that out of there.
And Chief, that was really a well-done way to put that out, because I looked at all the TV stations and newspapers, and all of them followed what you put out. It was very positive for the police and for town. The town. They didn't even talk about that other video. That really was wrong on their part. So it was nicely done, and it opened up the truth to the whole situation.
Well, there was also some comments about how much restraint they used. Difficult situation. Thankfully, all of them have. One was out for a little bit. He's since returned to duty. A few got checked out and returned a couple days later. So we'll let the court system handle the rest from there. I already mentioned possibility of the special meeting. As far as on the budget, I've mentioned for the past couple months, the overtime is trending high. We are going to exceed the normal budgeted amount. At this point, we have a couple payroll pulls still to go, and quite frankly, anything can happen at this point. We've had unfortunately, we had a fatal overdose this weekend, which necessitated some detective work. So, the overtime, it's going to be offset by other lines, other overtime-related lines, i.e. vacation and sick replacement times, lines that we can fill. But just to give the board a heads up, again, that's representative of our staffing issues, filling those, and maintaining all the things that we want to do. As we come into the summer season, the boat, that's all overtime. So there's a training component, there's a staffing component, and then there's all those special activities that are outside of the core services we have to maintain that's reflected within that number. So I don't believe that I necessarily adjusted that this year, but as we move forward, that'll be a target that we'll discuss in the next fiscal year. As far as correspondence, to the good part, resident sent us a letter thanking Officer Clifford for her compassion in helping this person with a family issue. Just wanted to thank her for a job well done. Officer Custra and Officer Cope, there was a minor accident, and they wanted to let us know that he understood that Officer Custer is new to the department, and Branford should be proud of their selection process. And Officer Cope is an excellent trainer and a leader. We appreciate the correspondence for those two officers. And yes, I guess I get one every once in a while. This will be the first time in a long time. But a resident who attended the racial profiling forum just wanted to reach out and say that, was appreciating me relaying the challenges of a police chief in this day and age, and a nice compliment saying I was a good leader, so I do appreciate the feedback. But again, everything we do is a reflection of the men and women of the department, and that's the crew that makes everything happen. Then we have two interesting letters. They're apology letters from two elementary school students who decided that they maybe wanted to venture out and go out into the woods and do what young kids do, and give their parents a kind of scary hour and the school personnel. But thanks to the school staff and our officers and our detectives working with the family and some other means, we were able to locate them. So they felt it was appropriate to apologize to the officers for the time and the resources, and they understood the consequences of their actions, and more aligned of how scary it was for everybody. So we redacted, but we felt we include those. At this point, I will turn it over for the deputy with the building project or anything that I may have missed.
So the building project update, the deadline for completion of the construction documents is July 19th. Our architect is actively working on those documents. Last week, we spent a full day with architects from Chukunski Humes going through piece by piece these construction documents and all the finer details within those documents as to final placement for things like the data ports and the outlets and key card access and a lot of details. So there's still some work to be done and another follow-up meeting to occur, but we're hoping July 19th to be on schedule for that. Our interior design team, CAMA, they're still working on finish boards, and will be providing us those finish boards in the near future for finishes within the building. And our architect has been working with a structural engineer to review the roof, and a determination was made that the roof cannot support solar panels in addition to additional needed insulation. So the insulation is going to come first, but we won't be able to put solar panels on this roof due to code and due to the weight of panels on this existing roof. So we found that out this week. We're a little bit disappointed there because we were hoping to add solar to this roof. However, we're hoping that we know that our carport canopy will be solar ready. So maybe down the line we'll be able to add some panels to the carport. But outside of that, that's all I have for an update at this time.
Thank you, Chief. Report of the chair, once again, just to make sure that cars are aware of pedestrians, bicyclists, motorcyclists, you know, there are lots of people out and about. Put the phones away while you're driving and pay attention. It's difficult because we can all be guilty of it, but I can see a lot of times cars swerving or, you know, trying to avoid last minute things, so let's just be vigilant with that. And we have no citizens' comments, so I guess the only other thing is a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.